PBS. Let's go!
Oh yeah,
As some of you may have noticed, we're in a new location this week because our old location got reserved, and we didn't think ahead and reserve it
And
before
there's no car,
before they
and
did.
there's no Phil.
Yeah. Also of note,
Now it's Logan Cam all day long.
we got Logan, and we got who's the other host? Oh, me. It's Super Testnet's the second host or the co-host or the host. Yeah, man, this is gonna be great. So we got a whole list of topics lined up for you today, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be funny. Wait, we don't have any topics lined up, do we?
We have pizza.
We do have pizza. So enjoy that, you and our audience, and make the best of it. So here we are. Here we're doing it. We're doing it live. Let's go. Okay. So, topics. Number one topic. What should we talk about first?
Do you want to talk about your project?
You made something.
I made a chess thing today. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever wanted to play chess? Like, that's happened. And then you probably couldn't find a way to do it because sometimes you can't. So I made a thing. What you might do is be like, I can't find anywhere. Like, if your mind is occupied by Bitcoin all day, and then you suddenly have a hankering to play chess, you might not realize that there are websites where you can do this. And you might be like, I need to do chess on Bitcoin's blockchain. That's a real thing. People have this need. You don't know how many people have come up to me every day and been like, hey, I want to play chess on Bitcoin's blockchain. So I was like, if I got a solution for you, I made it so you can. So there's a new thing, and on my GitHub, github.com/supertestnet/Bitcoin-chess. You might search for it once you get to GitHub. Bitcoin chess. And if you get there, you can play chess. And all your moves, every time you make a move, it's recorded on Bitcoin's blockchain, which is really stupid, but it was fun to make. And then people can watch your game unfold right on the Can you believe it? Yeah.
And is it block per block? Like, is it like every block you make in one move, or you can do multiple moves in one block?
You can do multiple moves in one block. It shows you the display thing shows you each move as soon as it makes it into the mempool, which also, by the way, makes it possible to double spend a chess move, which I think is funny. There's no button for that. Yeah, if you want to like do takebacks.
So it's not block by block; it's transaction by transaction when they're found in the mempool.
Yeah. Although you could wait until the block gets confirmed and then just make your move after that.
But if the block is confirmed, you can't move back.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No move backsies.
No move backsies after
Okay.
confs.
No move backsies in chess anyway.
You're not supposed to, but I mean, there is this thing in chess where like if your fingers are still on the piece, then you can take it back.
Yeah.
So if the move is in the mempool, it's like your fingers are still on the piece. Anyway, yeah, I made this cool thing, and after I made it yesterday and released it, and then today I'm working on a view-only mode, so you can get two people's Bitcoin addresses and then watch them play a game of chess. Yeah.
Well,
So that's moving along quite nicely. I got it to where you can click a button to see the next moves.
Awesome.
Yep.
congratulations, Super.
Yeah, a new thing. Look at that.
And
Yeah.
it's got some pretty cool like tech in there. Some pretty cool code. You were telling me about some nice
Yep.
thing that you've done to. Well, you can explain it, but I don't remember.
It's difficult to say it humorously, but I'll give it a go. First of all, it uses its two properties called key tweaking and reveal skipping. So key tweaking is what I used in Whisper addresses a while back, and then I've been experimenting with it since then. When Taro came out, they started using key tweaking to hide assets in Bitcoin pub keys, not like tokens, like altcoins and
You're
stuff.
probably making a lot of noise back in the table.
Sorry about that. And when I saw that they came out with that, I wanted to put that in my chess game. So I made it so that you hide your chess moves in a Bitcoin pub key, and then you commit to that by sending money to a Bitcoin address that has this key tweaking thing. And then I do this other technique called reveal skipping. Normally in these schemes, like with Taro, you commit to some data and then you reveal it to whoever you're sending money to by sending them the tweak that you put into your pub key, and then they can verify that that's in there. But I found a way to skip that. You don't have to reveal it to them. They can figure out what your tweak was without you telling them by knowing what your initial pub key was and knowing what all your possible moves are in the chess game. and then they can just figure it out for themselves when they see what Bitcoin address you sent money to.
So they just make multiple guesses based on all the possible chess moves, and one of them will eventually match.
Yes, they make multiple guesses about which move you might have made, knowing that in any given configuration you can only make 20 to 40 moves. And then they just check which one you sent funds to. And if you didn't send funds to any of them, then they're like, oh, he just took his money out and he's not in the game anymore.
Because each move is a hex value? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally in
So
chess,
you're basically deriving your stealth address from the pookie and the hex value.
I am deriving. Yes, this is a bit technical and hard to say in funny ways, but yes, I am doing that. I am normally, very often in chess, when people make moves, they say things like, I'm moving piece A2 to A4, and that might be a pawn move.
Yeah.
So I take those statements, A2 to A4, and encode that as a hex value, tweak a key with it, and then that's the move. And then the corresponding player checks all possible tweaks. Anyway, there's key tweaking and reveal skipping are the two main technologies that are in this thing, and it's really fun, and you should check it out. So, there's a topic, and a huge round of applause from all our faithful viewers out in the peanut gallery. Yeah, I don't have any other topics to go over.
I have a question.
John, we got a question. Let's go for it, faithful audience members.
Way back
One
in
of
the
them
back.
Okay.
so far.
Is Logan speaking or he's only listening?
So I'm trying to figure out if the stream is actually even working. We're on a new laptop here.
Okay.
I'm looking at the camera, but I know it's not really going to show up here because I'm seeing how much it's lagging on the stream. But maybe you can hear me.
Okay, good. Because I had a question for you, Logan.
What's
Go
up?
for it.
What do you think about BIP 119? Your opinion.
Well, there's 3 digits on it.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
I asked for an opinion, not a fact. So,
On the soft fork.
yeah.
Did you guys, the last PBS was BIP 119 centered,
Focused.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Way too much.
Because of me.
You want to bring it back again?
Yes.
He's doing it again. Just every episode now. He's just going to be like, what's your thought on BIP 119?
So Logan doesn't want to answer though. Okay. I was really asking him his opinion, but.
I don't have one.
Okay, that's fine.
It would have
I don't
been...
really have one either.
Okay, I want to know more about Logan. Logan, do you have a startup?
I have a laptop that's streaming PBS.
Yay! Woo!
Hey, audience members, could one of you do us a favor and check the stream online to make sure that we're not, like, super laggy?
Yes.
That'd
We
be...
are
Where can I find the
Visually,
link?
we are definitely super laggy. I'm just trying
Where
to
can I find
out
the
right
link,
now if there's...
Logan?
It would be on... It's on Twitter?
In Telegram or
PBS, Twitter.
It would be
you
on,
post it on
it would be
Telegram?
on Twitter.
You didn't post it on Telegram. Okay. Pleb Lab Twitter?
Okay, the audio is actually okay. It's decent.
All right.
Which is amazing because I don't even have headphones. That's what we're dealing with today.
Whoa.
All right. Well, you can't beat that. So, ladies and gentlemen, since you can hear us, we are taking comment solicitations. And if you can put a comment into our Twitter, we may, or a question, we will probably go over it. Second, hi. Hey. Someone's taking a selfie from the audience. So, peace.
That's the stream, I
I'm
think.
just showing you the stream. Actually, I'm not taking a selfie.
So you can't see anything, but you can hear us.
Yes, I think it's lagging.
All right. Second order of business for the day. John,
Yes.
give us a second order of business. It's up to you. It's up to you.
I don't know. What,
Yeah, we have a viewer on Twitter.
Woo, you poor soul.
who's that song?
I have a question.
Simon.
I have a question for Super.
Right.
What do you think about the Central African Republic adopting Bitcoin?
I have yet to read their law, which is supposedly in French.
It is.
And I haven't read it yet. I did read Article 23 of it, which sounded good to me.
Yay!
Alex Gladstein posted Article 23 of their new law, and it said something like they're going to do something similar to what El Salvador did with the trust, where anyone who receives Bitcoin in the country can convert it to the country currency through this trust that they have.
Nobody's gonna do that. But
Well,
yeah.
who would want? I mean, the whole reason for it is to like abandon the Central African Republic's currency.
Yes.
I imagine.
Which is, I think, worthless. But oh yes, no, they have the French stuff.
They use a French dollar.
The French, like some sort of French dollar, colonized dollar. I don't know if you ever read that article.
Nope.
There's 15 countries in Africa
Mm-hmm.
that uses the same currency that's managed by France. It's called the CFA franc.
The CFA franc.
Yes, and so
I had a
that's
CPA
that.
named Frank back in when I was
Yeah.
employed by a fiat
But
job.
that's a CFA franc.
Just kidding. I didn't actually have a CPA named Frank.
Yeah, so it's a good news.
All right. I haven't read it, so I don't know. One thing that I didn't like about the El Salvador thing was that they forced people to accept Bitcoin. They made it a law that you have to.
Yeah.
And I thought that was stupid. I was like, just make it like you can encourage it. You can do the no taxes thing, or you can do incentives. But they forced people. They were like, if you don't, you get fined.
Yeah.
I don't think Africa's doing that. I think Africa is not doing that.
Yeah.
And so if that's true, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
forced all my life to. I am forced right now to accept Canadian dollars. So
And how does that make you feel?
mad as hell. Mad as hell.
He doesn't like it at all.
But a lot of people live that situation.
Yeah.
So it's not so bad.
Huh?
Elevator key.
Yeah, I have an elevator key.
Oh, who's there?
We got a stranded audience member.
Oh, okay.
All right,
I was
guys.
checking the group. I was going to go down.
Do-
Do you want me to run down while you do the laptop, or do you want
This
to?
isn't even the right key.
Do you want to get some more beers, John, as well?
But we do probably need more alcohol for this one.
No, we're good. We're good.
Whoa! I kicked the camera.
Is the camera...
Nobody's gonna notice because.
The camera is not working.
So
Okay.
Okay, so usually we use Car's laptop, but today we're using mine. My laptop does not have a dedicated graphics chip.
Oh, that's why.
Right.
It's got some fairly good integrated
CPU.
graphics on the CPU for an Intel.
Oh. But not for a stream. Like,
They can't-
it's not strong enough.
Not every laptop can be Cars. Amazing
Oh.
masterpiece of a
So does
chipset.
Car have... I have a question.
Okay, let's go with another question from another
Does
audience
Car
member.
has a special laptop, or he has just a standard laptop but with a better card, or he has a really, really fancy laptop?
He's got a MacBook Pro, I believe.
Oh.
He's just got a normal MacBook Pro, which is fancy compared to
So...
worse laptops.
oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think
thought-
I think it's pre M1 chip though, because he complains about not wanting to have the first generation M1.
Okay.
Better than the M1 chip, or worse?
Worse than the M1 chip.
Oh, okay.
Another thing that we might want to talk about is Texas. Texas is a good place.
Yay!
Yeah, man. Can you believe it? And didn't Texas do something cool recently? Like Fort Worth started mining Bitcoin?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I think that there's there's ASICs in the capital now. So
Yes.
this is a
The
way.
first government in the world mining Bitcoin.
No, El Salvador is doing it too with their
True.
volcano stuff.
Oh, that's right.
But
First government in North America.
it's probably the first time when you're minting or when you're generating capital in the capital. So that might be cool. A pun.
Yeah. I'm playing the drum there.
It's
like,
but
yeah,
on that
that's
one.
it.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool news. I look forward to seeing more states and other governmental agencies. I don't know how to finish the sentence.
I have a question.
I don't know. I don't want to finish that sentence because I'm not sure I want to see
But I
more
have a
states
question
and government
regarding
agencies.
That sentence unfinished.
The unfinished sentence that I don't agree with?
Yes.
All right.
So my question is, Super and Logan, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for Bitcoin that governments own Bitcoin on their balance sheet?
Simon's question is it good or bad that governments own Bitcoin? It's good for Bitcoin And it's good for the governments.
I hear that everything's good for Bitcoin.
Right. In the
That's a good point.
in the short term, it's probably good for Bitcoin users. I don't know about the long term because money is power, and by having the hardest money in the world, these governments gain more power. So that could be bad, but I guess we'll see.
All right.
Hey, more audience members! Good to see ya. Here they are.
Johnny, you can drink a beer.
We were discussing Fort Worth.
Oh, I didn't get beer because they had their
Oh,
own
they had
beer,
their own
so it's
beer.
like, you want more, though. I'll go up now in a second.
Well, I can go after.
Definitely.
Anybody
After
who
my
wants to
question.
take this
Considerably
mic is free to. The
increased.
camera is basically irrelevant this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Camera's laggy, so we're voice only, apparently.
pretty much voice only.
Got
But you get
encoder issues.
Holford.
you get a new still like every 25
Yes.
seconds on the stream.
How
So.
are you?
Simon,
And most of them I appear to be
yourself?
chewing.
looking sharp.
Hey, we have a new guest.
My name's Sean.
Hi, Sean. Good to
Hey,
meet you.
John.
Or John. With a
John.
John or Sean?
Sean or John?
Hey, there's two Johns here.
I know.
Sean.
We're popular. It's very.
It's the name is growing. The
Sean
name is
John,
growing.
alright.
We
Sean
need,
John.
we need to give the bands a run for their money, so
Yeah.
we're getting more
Oh, you're
Johns
giving
into
them a
Bitcoin.
reference. One.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question was, is it good for?
Is it good for Bitcoin that governments are holding Bitcoin? The context is that Fort Worth is mining Bitcoin now.
Oh, yeah.
El Salvador is mining Bitcoin. The Central African Republic just got into Bitcoin. Panama is doing that. So if assuming these guys start to hold some on their balance sheets, is that good for Bitcoin? Is it good for them?
or
Good for users?
plebs?
Is it good for plebs?
I personally think it's good for Bitcoin
Well,
because
I agree.
I think more people using Bitcoin is good for Bitcoin, and it doesn't matter who they are.
John says it's good for Bitcoin because there's more people using Bitcoin, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that
I
for
know
sure.
there's this whole argument about I would rather my enemies don't have Bitcoin, and governments and central banks are our natural enemies, but I don't see it that way. I just think the more people using it,
Bitcoin is money for enemies, isn't it?
it's money for enemies, and I think we are. I think if we realistically think that we're gonna have a world where we can all interact and use Bitcoin every day freely, and the governments won't use it, I think is not very
John points out that
likely to happen.
if everyone's using Bitcoin, then governments have to use Bitcoin because they're part of everyone.
Yeah, or we have a system where we all use Bitcoin, and we have all our cool privacy and coin join tools, and we're all paying Bitcoin amongst each other and everything, and then we have to go and convert it to pay the government whatever they want to pay, or whatever needs to be done. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think we're all going to use the real system.
Okay, John has reasons for thinking that the world will converge on a Bitcoin standard. Is it on a related note? Well, Simon's got a question.
Follow up.
A follow up.
What does Sean John thinks about that?
No, I take probably the same sort of point. I think that it's good. I think that the U.S. will probably peg their currency to something that is tangible. Again, so I think.
Sean thinks the U.S. will adopt a Bitcoin standard and make a pegged
Throw this mic
dollar.
over there.
Yeah, how about we have a floating
no,
mic?
it's okay. But I guess the question is what's the counter argument? Who in the room is an advocate for them not to hold Bitcoin? No, it's okay. I just want to talk. You got it.
Because we want to hear you.
Pretty much my approach is that the U.S. will do the same thing that they did with gold, and they would essentially, if they convert back to it, they would have some peg to it, and then that would be their currency.
Yeah.
So one question that was brought up was who in here doesn't want governments to hold Bitcoin? And I don't know if anyone in here would, but I imagine that some of our streamer listeners are don't want governments to exist at all. And if they don't exist at all, they can't really hold Bitcoin now, can they? So that
I could try to steel man that.
all right.
Since there's nobody here that would, because I honestly agree. I think it actually would make governments better if they held Bitcoin.
Agreed.
Bitcoin aligns incentives, right?
That and, I mean, if maybe it also makes them vulnerable to legislation where it has to remain audible to the public. I think it's pretty cool that the blockchain's basically visible to everyone. And that would include governments if they were to hold.
We got a chain spy here, gentlemen.
But
We got a chain
I
spy.
subscribe to, was it Whale Watch?
Yeah.
Have you seen that feed?
I've seen Whale Watch. Yeah.
So much money's moving around the world.
Whale Watch.
It's so fascinating.
Whale Watch posts a tweet, and probably on other social media too, whenever a large amount of Bitcoin is moved to an exchange, or from an exchange, to or from. They track large flows to and from exchanges, because there are probably a lot of reasons for it. But one is that they can have an impact on traders, who are one of the common users of Bitcoin. If a bunch of people are putting a bunch of money on an exchange, that could either mean someone's about to buy a bunch or someone's about to sell a bunch.
Did you see Coinbase has their Coinbase Analytics, which they call it Coinbase Scan
Coinbase
or whatever. It's
Flow
essentially, it's like a chain analytics software.
I saw that
Today,
Yeah.
I saw a news article.
For like B2B software, or that their consumers can use.
It's for
Like
B2B, but to comply with potential future AML laws.
oh,
But then the question becomes is and this is like a popular discussion on like Samurai's Telegram is will coins essentially be blacklisted based on how many hops away you are from a previous coin join? But the thing
An
is, it's
audience member has pointed out that Coinbase came out with an analytics tool for spying on their users recently. An article on No BS Bitcoin says Coinbase releases Coinbase Intelligence Surveillance Suite. Thank you for the use of your cell phone
It
too.
just came out of my feed today.
I think
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the
so.
And is that bad? Is it good? I don't. I mean, is it? Yeah, it's a good question. What do I think? Is it? I don't know what I think if it's bad or good. Or I don't know how to say it yet. Someone else talk about whether it's good or bad, and then I'll come and then we'll circle back.
Well, I don't know. I was going to talk about the previous point, but we can finish up on this one. And
Okay,
go
cool.
Back. I don't know if it's bad.
All
I
right.
think that's my initial thought. It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, especially if the reasoning is to comply with like current or future possible KYC AML laws.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think so. Tying these 2 points together, I think it's bad that there's like chain analytics companies that are more so on like the government regulation side.
So
Yeah.
like we can't hear you when you speak. If you could pass the mic over to him so we can.
Yeah, I don't want to talk on.
Well, we need somebody to repeat your points then.
No, it's okay. So I have like, maybe here's another way to like ask the question: Is there ever a good reason for chain analytics? Like, what would be? And I mean, it's an honest question. Like, I just can't think of like. I'm sure there might be, but like, is there reasons where like a good, honest company would need chain analytics? Like, and I don't mean like what Zaporite's trying to build, like accounting software. I mean like
No,
real deep dive, like tracking
let's
like
suppose there
transactions between. Like, is there a good, honest reason that would be needed? Yeah.
Topher has a reason why.
Why wouldn't this technology be used to audit publicly traded companies and government accounts?
Because they deserve privacy too.
Well, then it's like either all or nothing. Either it's the same with encryption. Either
Well-
both sides are allowed to have secrets or they're not. You
Well,
can't
this
just
is a-
regulate the math.
This is a good point, and it kind of ties back into what I wanted to bring up at the previous point, which was like, should governments hold Bitcoin? And part of the answer I was going to give for that, which I think ties in, is that I think it's good. I don't know if it's net overall good, but there's definitely good in there, because I think Bitcoin like forces you to be a better person. Like it means you can't pull shenanigans. You
If you're
can't
out on
you
the
can't print more money. You can't like
Everybody
be
knows what
corrupt.
your
You, like
accounts are, they know everything about you on the blockchain. Or
yeah,
you're
it
public
like
about it.
well, I was talking to people about this recently, and it's like think of the situation. Do we want governments or do we want monarchy? Right? And everyone's like, oh, monarchy, we don't want to go back to that days. But like monarchies were always like good to their like peasants, right? Because they knew that if they acted like a dick, they would either get killed or like people would just maybe like leave and they wouldn't be able to gather taxes from them. And then so like there was always the like benevolent monarchy.
Yeah.
And I think if we're on a Bitcoin standard, it'll force government to do the same thing. They'll have to like the sovereign individual book, like they'll have to compete for their tax revenue. So they'll have to like offer better services, be better people, like cut out all the corruption and shit from their governments. And if a natural cause of that is to weed out all the corrupt people who are just in government to like line their own pockets, and it leaves you with the smaller subset of just honest people who actually want to like, you know, do good for the country and run the government properly, then that naturally means smaller government. So I think overall it's a net benefit if governments adopt Bitcoin, because it means that the people who are just there like to line their pocket, like these career politicians in Congress and stuff for like 70 years, just like milking taxes, they're not going to be able to do that. They're going to have to force them to become productive members of society. And that's good.
Not just state governments, but really any form of government.
Any form of government, yeah.
It would be
exactly.
interesting.
For a charity, that's what comes to my mind. Like, wouldn't charities that essentially do all their business out in the open on the blockchain have a competitive advantage?
They may have a competitive advantage, but then my question would be, well, like, why do they necessarily need to do that? You know, I mean, I could see the competitive advantages, but yeah, I mean,
like what charities are honest and what charities are just milking people for their money, and it's hard to
True.
know where all the money goes.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at like all these, what are the big ones where you see people wearing the blue
Susan
vests
B.
and they
Anthony,
like they're standing out on the street and they like, you know, try and accost you as you're
Or
walking down the
Girl
street, like
Scouts of America.
Child Line or like whatever.
See how we really go.
But all those large charities have like huge staffing costs.
Yeah.
Like they got CEOs that are being paid like $1 million
It might
a
be
year
just
to
that
run
there's
these charities. And,
inefficiencies in the system, and so it's like if a charity's operating out in the open, then maybe some of that criticism would be constructive.
yeah,
I-
sure.
In their business.
That's a valid
charities-
reason for chain surveillance.
When a charity is small, you often see them publish these reports about income and expenses. They're very public about where their money goes, and they'll have a pie chart that's like, we spent this percentage of our income on staff, and we spent this much of our income on this, that, and the other thing. But as they get bigger, they stop publishing those, because I think the pie chart starts looking less appealing to people who might donate to them as they get bigger. Like there's more grift that happens in an organization as it gets bigger, because it's harder to keep track of everything that's
But when
going
an
on.
organization gets bigger, like, is it really the people at the top, like, rubbing their hands, or is it just in so many inefficiencies in the system that there are people at the lower levels that are doing things they shouldn't be doing?
I would
feel
suspect
that
it
way
is
about
small examples of corruption at every level lead to giant inefficiencies that are hard to detect.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess, not having much insight into it. So here's a reason why why it might be good to create chain surveillance software, and it is because people are asking for it. Let's say I walked around with a big sign that had my social security number on it. Would it be bad to look at my sign? Like, probably not, because I was sitting there with a big sign showing everyone. And that's kind of what, if people don't use any of the privacy software available in Bitcoin, and they're just out there with their transaction info, letting everyone know what it is it bad to look? Like, they're saying, I sent this much to this person, and here's my KYC info, and I'm going to make it all available to whoever's looking for it. Is it bad to look then? I would think not.
I wouldn't say it's bad to look, but I'd say, why is it necessary to build the tools to make it easier to look?
So that it's easier to do the good thing.
I mean, there's a legitimate,
Looking.
legitimate use case for it.
Like
So,
white hat versus dark hat or black hat.
yeah, so like, and I'm speaking from a construction standpoint, just because that's what I'm
Yeah.
familiar with. You have to make sure that everybody's
floating
name
mic
is
go?
on the job site.
Floating mic is over there.
Yeah, all right. This one I'll actually sort of talk about because it's sort of important. So
Sean John.
yeah, so it's possible that it could be valuable, and I personally hate fucking chain surveillance. Like,
Yeah.
I think we all do.
yeah, I think it's pretty shitty. But there's actually a good use case. It's a business use case, and it's about validations of transactions going throughout the supply chain. So, like in construction, if you're a subcontractor or a material person and you don't get paid for the job, there's a liability on the property. So the property owner is incentivized to track the transactions to make sure that anyone who has any stake or any interest in the property gets paid.
Yeah.
So like having a verifiable transaction chain, knowing that you're getting all the suppliers and all the material men paid, is a business use case where the blockchain would be valuable for that. Now that being said, I think that that's a 1% fraction of a greater pie, and I think that the negative effects vastly outweigh the benefit effects. But
Yeah.
that's like a legitimate use case that exists in business, not just for construction, but for many other things.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side is it's like, okay, since everybody knows that it's a public ledger and you can validate it, then it spurs people to think about privacy slightly different. There's a really good show or movie called We Live in Public. It's really fucked up, actually. I highly recommend watching it. And it talks about what life is like when you don't have privacy. And behaviors change significantly so that when you do want refuge of privacy, you are making an active mental mind switch to say, okay, I'm going to try to be private for this conversation. And so it develops it's like almost like a split personality. Like you have your public self and then you have a private self. And as long as the tools are there to be private, then I think it's totally fine. And you will make a calculated decision to be private when you want to be because you value it so much.
So I can imagine creating a charity, and at the start of your charity, you want everyone to see all of your income and you want everyone to see all of your expenses, because your competitors are keeping that information private, and no one knows if your competitors in this charity are actually spending the money on the homeless or whatever it is that you're trying to help out. So you publish all of your income, you publish all of your expenses, you don't use any Bitcoin privacy tools. That way everyone can see. Now, you're going along, and at some point, you're like a donor to this organization that has this charity, and you notice that they've started using privacy tools. Like now, you can't see their income, and you can't see their expenses. You might start asking questions. You might be like, "What changed?" So it seems like you were doing this before, and you weren't doing it now. So as a donor, it might be useful to you to have It might be useful to you to have software that makes it easy to identify someone's expenses and income, so that it's not hard on you. I want to be able to do this so I can make sure that the charity I'm donating to is really spending the money how I want them to. And then if they stop, that would be useful information too. So you could say, all right,
Or
this is
they're
a
not
red flag
taking
for me.
Donations from certain sources,
Mm-hmm.
because that's coming too.
Yeah.
Right.
People should realize that that's coming too.
Yeah.
So that to me that is one reason why an argument could be made that, and I would agree with it, that there's nothing wrong with writing chain surveillance software, but it's the motivation that needs addressed. Because if your motivation is, we don't want users to have privacy, like we don't want privacy tools to exist, we want to fight privacy, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better if this arms race is out in the open, and that companies are producing these surveillance tools for more altruistic reasons, for reasons that the market demands, rather than they being done in secret for reasons that the government demands. And so if there's a lot of valuable use cases for doing auditing the books, for example, within a company that decides to accept the Bitcoin standard, then it would be nice to kind of see the tools that are going to be made eventually just skew in that direction. And I feel confident that there's so many brilliant minds working in the space. Like I know we're steel manning the argument for like surveillance and for all this stuff pretty hard right now, but I feel like the most brilliant people are going to find ways around all of this. Like it's all going to be circumvented. If you want to be off the grid, then you're going to be off the grid. Like crypto tools today are so incredible and so ubiquitous. Like the crypto libraries are in every browser, like every library.
I thought of another
I'm not
one.
concerned about like us losing this war.
Another reason why someone might want to why it would be good to build chain surveillance software, is if you're building privacy software, you have to have a set of tools that you can test against.
Yeah.
So like if you want to know, like you have to have the software that tries to attack your privacy, so that you can build a shield that protects against those attacks. And thus, I think there are companies, privacy companies, who write chain analysis software so that they can defeat it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, companies do that now. Like Google does that. They hire professional pen testers, try to break into their software,
Mhm.
break in, or even do social engineering attacks.
Yeah.
There's a good guy. What's his Twitter handle? It's Ergo, ERGO. He does a bunch of really good chain analysis, but to like protect your own privacy. And he
Right.
uses the OXT.me software, which is good.
Okay. Yeah.
One example of privacy fighting software is OXT.me, which is a block explorer that tries to do this thing called address bundling. I don't think it's called that. It's called something else. But they try and identify clustering. That's what it's called, clustering. A cluster of Bitcoin addresses that likely belong to the same entity. And this is an attack on the privacy of that entity. But the reason they have it is it's the same people who make Samurai Wallet, which is a privacy wallet. They make that software so that they can make Samurai know how to defeat it and not be clusterable.
Yeah,
So-
Right,
the
yeah.
worst thing is to just blindly use it thinking that you're protected when you're not.
So yeah, so maybe it's good to have all this chain surveillance software out there so that it can speed up the development of
The countermeasures.
the countermeasures. Yeah.
I doubt that Coinbase is releasing it on GitHub as free and open source software. That seems unlikely to me.
Yeah.
But somebody ought to be doing that. Or I would like it if there was such things, and I think there are, like oxt.me. I think that's on GitHub.
I wonder if like rich people will pay to have people try and find their bank accounts on the blockchain, just to see like how much they're really off the grid.
It's like pen test their
Yeah.
their
Because banks pen
fingerprint.
test their own vaults,
Yeah.
so that'd be interesting. I would think exchanges are already doing that to an extent.
Probably.
Last
Well,
one. All yours.
It depends.
We could
yeah.
hope.
So, our next topic for discussion, we've discussed governments adopting Bitcoin. Privacy is good, and chain surveillance is not good, or can be good. I don't know. Is controversial. And then what else do we get? Chess.
We discussed Bitcoin chess.
Yeah.
What else is there?
We discussed Logan's opinion on Bit 119.
Which
And-
is that it
and
has
he
3
told us
digits.
It was 3 digits.
It is 3
basically.
digits. 119 is a 3-digit number. That's Logan's
Yeah.
opinion.
Thank you, Logan.
But yeah, has there any been?
What else happened in Bitcoin this week?
What else happened?
Yeah.
Somebody started scrolling through No BS Bitcoin and tell us what all happened.
Africa? Didn't something happen in Africa?
Yeah, we talked about
we
that.
talked about that briefly.
And
yeah.
Panama too.
Panama.
So what happened in
so
Panama?
Are Panama going to start
Is it
charging
real?
for the Panama Canal, the crossings in Bitcoin?
Oh, that would be good. Is it real, the Panama stuff? Like, I wasn't sure. Like, they really ban. Like, there's no more capital gains tax on Bitcoin in Panama. Is that correct? Or
There's no more capital gains tax on Bitcoin in Panama, and you can use it to pay taxes. And
Yeah, no capital gains tax. You're correct.
the Panama president posted an interesting graph, a chart, a world map that showed 3 colored countries, and they were El Salvador, Panama, and Central African Republic.
wow.
And he was like, it said something about these are the countries. Like the president of Panama said, Bitcoin is legal tender in all 3 of these countries, and it's just going to grow, or something like that.
3 down, 172 to go. Or
Yeah.
something.
That's
I
the
saw
president of
somebody
Panama
say-
that posted that.
President
That's
of Panama
huge.
posted that. Yeah.
We have 3 countries adopting Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin is like $40,000. Like, I mean, buy some sats, everyone, as if
As
it's
if
worth 10
other-
million. Buy sats as if the price is 10 million because
Yeah.
it's worth 10 million.
But
Let's go, plebs.
Because it will be one day.
It will
Yeah.
be.
But it'll be $10 million. Like
Yeah.
it's one sat's one sat, one Bitcoin's one.
Yeah.
it'll be worth $10 million.
And purchasing power.
But by then,
Purchasing
$10 million will buy you like a pizza. So
In today's purchasing power.
It'll like meet right in the middle.
yeah.
Think of how much money the U.S. will have printed by like 10 years from now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know the money.
think of how many Bitcoins they'll mine. There you go. Think about that one.
That's easy. It's already in the algorithm.
Well,
It's
but
gonna be,
yeah, but not how many. But now it's not written in the algorithm how much hash rate the USA will have.
no.
So
I heard something recently. Have like 35% or 30% now after the China ban.
I heard that semi recently, but I think it's gone up since then. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 40
Well,
now.
didn't we hit a new all-time high, like,
In the hash
difficulty yesterday or something?
Yeah, 244 sextillion hashes per second, I think. Give or take.
I don't even know what that number means.
How many zeros? Is
It's
that?
that's like big number. Yeah,
Yeah, it's big.
yeah,
It's a lot of zeros.
yeah. Yeah, what else is there? What else happened in Bitcoin? I don't know what happened in Bitcoin this week. I haven't been on Twitter that much. That's my
So
only
guys,
outlet.
okay, I have a question
Yeah.
to Super, because I like asking questions to Super.
All right.
So I was discussing with a fellow pleb this afternoon about the current price of Bitcoin. I don't care about the price, but
But you were asking about it.
we're talking about it, and it seems like the price is so low, like compared to what's going on and the real value. Like, do you think there's shenanigans keeping the price down, or that's purely the pure free market right now?
I think it is the free market, and I don't think there's any shenanigans.
Okay.
One thing that I think is worth considering is the cost of mining equipment, or the cost to mine a Bitcoin. I think the cost to mine a Bitcoin right now is somewhere around $23,000 to mine one. And as long as it costs $23,000 to mine one, there is an incentive on miners to arbitrage the price difference and sell Bitcoins and buy energy, or sell energy and buy Bitcoins. And this causes, wait, no, the reverse. Yeah.
So-
When that arbitrage opportunity is taken advantage of, it causes the two prices to converge. And as a result, I would expect to see more downward price. If I was a trader, I would expect to see more downward price until demand increases.
Till demand increases or like hash rate keeps going up, and then the cost to mine Bitcoin keeps getting higher, and then wipes out a lot of that arbitrage.
Yep.
So somebody asked a question on Twitter today, or not, maybe not today, but this week. I saw it and I commented on it, and it was like, do you think there's fractional reserve, and how much, like how many sats, like how many coins? And I commented that I think it's actually more than 21 million coins. Like I think there's like an order of magnitude more coins being fractional reserved in the market.
Through what methods, like wrapped
Exchanges.
Exchanges just selling Bitcoin they don't have. Robinhood, PayPal, everybody. It's like, you want to buy Bitcoin? Yeah, sure. We'll just increase the number on your
That's true.
database. They don't have to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Think of the amount of
You can't
sketchy
take it out.
exchanges in like everywhere in the world that are like selling Bitcoin.
Let's talk through that.
Like-
What would does an exchange gain money if they do that?
They
you
gain,
do.
they gain
Yeah,
fees.
because they're selling. you
Then they're
money.
definitely
No,
doing
they're
it.
making so much
They're
money.
definitely
Clearly.
doing it.
They're
100%.
making so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making 100% profit on that, or whatever percentage they usually exchange. They say they take a
Oh
spread
yeah, that's
of,
right. They're
of
not,
two.
it's more than fees. They're actually making. If you buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin and they don't have the Bitcoin to give you, they make $10,000.
Exactly.
They make all
So-
the money.
Well,
Yeah.
it's credit.
Well,
So
it-
they make fees on
Until there's a
They
run
make
on
fees
there.
on the transaction, and then it's an owed liability to the user who may request a withdrawal. And then if there's a run on the exchange, and they're like, "Oh shit, we have 1% of the Bitcoin."
credit and money, two
Yeah,
separate
yeah.
concepts.
And that's exactly what happened with Quadriga, right? That's what.
Yeah, that's
like, exact
that's
same
what
thing.
happened with Mount
And it-
Mount
and-
Gox as
Yeah,
well.
so
And-
clearly there is
yeah.
fractionally reserved Bitcoin because year after year the exchanges go down and reveal they were fractionally reserving Bitcoin. Like, we didn't have it all, sorry.
Yeah, so
It's like, oh.
I think that there's actually like in the current system out there right now, the amount of Bitcoin, like people always talk about, oh, how much Bitcoin do you think there's on the market at any given one time? And people always say, well, there's only about like 18 million Bitcoin mined, and there's like 4 or 5 lost forever, and then so many 7 others like locked up for long, hard, like cold storage long term.
Yeah.
There's probably only like 2 to 3 million available.
But you're
on the
thinking
markets
there's like
at any
20 to
one day.
30 million.
I think there's probably about 50 million Bitcoin at any one time to buy.
Paper Bitcoin.
That would be
Yeah.
insane.
It would.
But that would explain why the price is at 40,000, basically.
It would. Now maybe that number is crazy, and maybe like I'm pulling that out of my ass. But like, if you can fractionally reserve Bitcoin,
Well, you
there
can.
will be bad actors doing it, 100%. So
Yeah.
like to think that it's not happening is like blindly naive. But to what degree it's happening? Is it like a tiny fraction of the overall 21 million Bitcoin? I think it's actually more than 20. I think we've got at least double the Bitcoin.
Yeah, how many exchanges show like proof of reserves?
Like
Almost none.
one that I know of.
They do all of them. Apparently, there's a January 3rd every year. They prove
Yeah,
the
but nobody
reserve.
does that. No, the exchanges don't. Prove it.
Exchanges don't do it.
No.
Users do it.
That's a proof of keys where we're trying to get users to pull their money off exchanges every January 3rd,
Oh.
so that we can collectively prove if they have it or not.
Yeah,
So the exchanges don't do it.
The Proof of Keys event on January 3rd is an attempt to get people to do a run on the exchanges, so that we could find out if any of them go down. Quadriga went down right after Proof of Keys.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, I don't think we had proof of keys in 2018.
We
we?
did.
It was 2019. Was it when did it
No,
end?
Quadriga went down before that.
2018.
2018.
Or was it
went down?
2019?
it was 2018.
2018, yeah.
But I remember it being a topic on various platforms, and I noticed it too when it happened. That it was like 2 days after Proof of Keys Day that they said, oh, that we've locked up all the users' bitcoins, and the founder died and his laptop's gone or whatever. It was like,
He died in the Philippines.
because
He died in
people were
India.
complaining that they were trying to do Proof of Keys and they couldn't withdraw their money. Quadriga wasn't letting them withdraw their money.
Yeah,
So-
I tried to withdraw money like 3 months before they went down, and it took me about 3 to 4 months to get my money.
Wow.
I just have to
It was
keep
2019.
keep
John.
screaming at them. Yeah, so it was he died apparently in December 2018 in India, and they only announced it I think on like February 10th or like February or January, like January, February, like it was a month or two later. And so it was when it was
It was right during
it
Proof
was-
of
it was
Keys that all the
after
trouble
proof-
started.
It was after the Proof of Keys when they announced that he died, and then that's immediately when all the trouble started. So I don't know if it was directly related to Proof of Keys or not, but it could have been.
Well, I don't think there are coincidences. So
There are no coincidences. But yeah, I think that's like
So
it's
are you
interesting
changing
to
your
think.
mind,
like,
Super?
about what?
Fractional reserve.
That there is fractional reserve?
Yeah.
Why-
Which is manipulation of Bitcoin, basically. It's a form of manipulating the price of Bitcoin.
yeah, because I think you said before you
Yeah,
don't.
you said,
I don't
you
think
said
there
no,
is.
you don't think so.
I don't think there is intentional manipulation of the suppression of the price of Bitcoin. I do think there is fractionally reserved Bitcoin.
But that's
So-
manipulation of the price. If you're
Well, it's a side effect
you'll
of
be
It's
Yeah,
not,
intentionally
it's not for
people.
the purpose of lowering the
Yeah,
price.
the intention is to get more money for the exchange, and by doing that, by trying to gain more fiat dollars and selling Bitcoin they don't have, they're effectively
lowering the
shorting
price.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But their intention isn't to lower the price of Bitcoin. It's just to get more money for themselves, and they're cheating everyone else who's a user of the exchange by doing that.
Yeah.
At least that'd be my take on it.
But right now, on to play devil's advocate, the level of seriousness, quote unquote, of exchanges is much higher like now than what it was like with Quadriga or Mt. Gox, where it was like a one-man show,
And the other
with a
thing
bank
is,
account in Canada receiving money, like sending Bitcoin, like really, really shady. Like these companies have, investors, they have like hundreds or thousands of employees. I mean, so I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
yeah, the other thing that occurs to me is that you're right, because you asked me, are they suppressing the price? Not is their intention in suppressing the price that they want the price of Bitcoin to go down. But factually, if they're shorting Bitcoin by selling Bitcoin they don't have, that's still suppressing the price.
Yeah.
Factually, they are, yes. You changed my mind. There is
Wow.
artificial suppression of the price of Bitcoin, but unintentionally.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Do you think there is any intentional as well?
Not a significant amount. No.
Logan,
Not a significant amount, but
What's
there is
that?
like the ESG FUD, like all the government FUD, like
What?
trying to they're intentionally trying to just kill the Bitcoin narrative as often as possible. So that's intentional FUD. Maybe that's not to drive down the price, but it's just to scare people away from Bitcoin, which would have the consequence of driving down the price.
Sounds like you agree it's not intentionally intended to suppress the price of Bitcoin. So it's intended to
Yeah,
suppress
right,
the
so-
usage of Bitcoin.
We're in the semantics weeds now, so let's move on to the next.
Look at
next
I have a
discussion.
question
Someone has a question.
for Logan. Logan, do you think exchanges do fractional reserve?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay, thank you, sir.
If it gives them a
Short to
price,
the point.
if they don't do it, their competitors are going to win, because their competitors are going to make the money that they are leaving on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like a crypto day trader would know the answer to these questions.
Nobody knows. Like, I mean, the only person that would know that would be employees of the said businesses, like a few set of people. And I think, to play devil's advocate, like some people would eventually talk, and say, hey, I work at Coinbase. We're supposed to hold 1 million Bitcoins, but by the way, we only have 700,000. And boom, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Run the Coinbase.
I don't even think it would though, because look at Tether. Tether was supposed to be 1-to-1 backed, and then they came out and said, "Oh well, we only have like 40% reserves, and the rest is made up of these, like leveraged assets and stuff."
Really?
And
They said
everyone,
that?
everyone just went, "Yeah, whatever."
What?
We never thought they were actually fully backed anyway.
Nobody
I
did.
thought-
But like when they came out and admitted,
I thought it
everyone
was
just went,
supposed theoretically that
Yeah.
Tether was supposed to be fully backed.
They're
Well,
cash-like
cash-like, yeah.
securities, and it's like you don't know what the fuck they're investing
Yeah.
in. It's all bullshit. It's
I thought it would've-
like highly liquid stuff.
I thought it would have been great
So
if
it's not
their,
that
if their
interesting.
motto,
Or you
if,
think it's fake?
Cash equities right now.
if Tether
a
had
lot of
changed
water.
their
But do
motto
they
to
have
something
the-
like unstoppable fractional reserve, would have been hilarious.
Like,
We're gonna fractional reserve and you can't do anything about
Just
it.
lean into it.
Yeah.
I have a question
Again?
for Sean John.
Yeah.
So Sean John, you just
"Where
said
did the
that.
shutdown come from?"
That's your name now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. Yeah.
Sean John.
Consensus.
So if there's 1 million units of dollars of Tether, so $1 million of Tether.
Yeah.
So is it official that there's only 400,000 of liquid equities or whatever to back that, or there's actually 1 million of a mix of dollars,
Can
equities?
we stop talking about
and all
Tether?
that?
This seems like a stupid topic to talk about.
We
Yeah,
can think about it.
answer number 2.
But yeah, from my understanding, I don't know shit about Tether because I don't really fuck with it. But
Nobody does.
it's,
Neither do I.
It's liquid. It's cash-like assets.
Yeah,
that
it's
are
supposed
backed.
it's supposed to be
100%.
1-to-1 like pure cash, like actual cash in the bank. But what it is like about 30-40% cash, and the rest is made up of like liquid assets.
So they're
Alright.
speculating on assets with people's reserves, basically. That would be the answer.
I'm gonna put my foot down. That's my hand, and I can't slam the table because it makes a loud noise.
the foot is down. We are moving.
Like
topic.
a year and a half ago, I liked Tether, and I was the only one who did, and the world was great. And now everyone likes Tether, and I'm upset. Let's go back to the world where everyone hates Tether, so I can be unique again.
Do you still like Tether?
I'm starting to not because I want to be contrarian. The whole reason I liked it in the first place is because it was contrarian.
Oh.
But now it's mainstream.
That's why you like BIP 119.
Yeah, that's part of it. I certainly do like it because it's
He's a
contrarian
rebel.
take.
He's a rebel.
But-
Even amongst Maxis, he's Maxi contrarian.
But it doesn't matter because we're not going to get it. Everyone hates it. Or not everyone hates the activation method. So
Do you
Yes.
think do you think it was purely just a PR campaign to get people talking about it, to reevaluate it?
purely
Yeah, I
no.
think
But yeah, I think PR is part of it. Yeah, he does because he's been working on this thing for like 5 years, and no one's paying attention. Like no one's even reviewing his code. He's like, I've got a pull request ready, but Jeremy Rubin.
Oh,
And no one's even reviewing
Fuck
his
that
code.
guy.
So he's just like, all right, I'm just going to announce a soft
Sure,
fork.
right.
And now it's the talk of the town.
Yeah.
So finally
Let's
people are
ban
paying
it.
attention. But
Let's...
I don't think that's just purely the only thing he was going for. I think he really does want to soft fork it.
I
Yeah.
just want that drama to die. Tired of my fucking emails going off in the middle of the night and it's like damn Bitcoin dev mailing list.
I had to unsubscribe. I unsubscribed.
I
There's
get-
too
I get-
much fucking email.
I get all my news through Stacker News now. I'm like pretty much like 90% off Twitter now, and it's fucking.
Oh, nice.
Actually,
I
yeah,
think I'm going to do that.
Good
as well.
shout. Let's get some.
I still.
Stacker
Let's
News.
get some topics off Stacker News to discuss. Do we still have to talk? Are we still?
Dude,
Are we
almost
still
on
doing
an
this,
hour?
or how long have we been running this? What?
We did Stacker News live earlier.
Yeah.
How
That
close is Stacker? How close are we to done? How close? It's supposed to be an hour.
Yeah, Car was like, do it 45 minutes. We're at 50.
Okay, so we got 10 more minutes.
However long we want
Let's
to
do a couple more topics.
Okay, rapid fire round. Who wants to talk about what?
Question. Okay, Stacker News related. Do you want the notification? Do you like the airdrop notification for Sats on a daily basis, or do you think that the Sats are overwhelmingly noisy and suppress?
I like them.
You like
I don't
I don't like.
I don't log in often enough for it to be annoying.
Okay.
But if I was logging in often enough and I wanted to use my notification feed to see stuff that was happening, it would probably annoy me that they're in there. But the last time I logged in, I did notice that they're gone
Changed.
now. It's
Yeah.
changed, yeah.
You could write a browser extension pretty easily. I could write a browser extension pretty easily that makes them show up for you or disappear for you.
Yeah, he
with a
has
toggle.
like now notifications, but yeah, like you can pick and choose.
That's good. Then no need. I like that he gives everyone options. He's very good about that. He's like, well, some people like this and some people like that, so I'm making both.
Yeah.
Okay, good choice.
Good hands.
That was one quick lightning round.
Good hands.
What's the next? What is one of the topics that we haven't talked about yet? Fidelity, right?
Sorry, I just found a topic that is of interest to me.
Yeah, well,
so
yeah.
I was gonna follow it.
Seems like
Super
quick news.
Oh, yeah.
Fidelity.
Welcome to Stacker News Live.
Fidelity
Fidelity.
Announced.
Fidelity.
that you can have Bitcoin in your something.
In your 401k. So, Super, I have a question.
Someone, that was your question.
Thank you, Super.
Watching out for you, man.
So
You'll never
you
be
can't-
doxxed on this show as long as have the mic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, with Fidelity, now you can have self-custody Bitcoin in and take the tax-deductible 401k stuff.
Really?
Is that what I understood?
I don't know.
That's my question. You wanted to talk about that. Like, I thought you were the expert.
Well, he's way off there.
Because you're an expert.
Just because I brought it up, I don't have no idea. about
Super,
this
you're an
stuff.
expert.
I have amazing
Not on
news.
Fidelity.
Oh, never mind.
Totally could.
Did you guys
For a
understood my
second, we
question?
had actual good video. What? It was smooth. It was like moving.
Dude, we're getting into the prime time.
I mean, we're going from TV to radio to TV to radio. I mean, it's exciting. Right?
Yeah.
That wasn't funny. Okay.
Radio to TV. So Fidelity is offering this thing so that people can buy Bitcoin and put it in 401k.
401k?
I don't know all these financial terms.
Yeah. It's like a tax-deductible investment stuff, right? Who knows about that?
401ks. I'm not an old.
You can do both. One is you get taxed while putting money in, or you get taxed when you get money out.
Oh.
So you split them.
What's the option where you don't get taxed either direction?
You have to wait.
Yeah.
Talking about that offline. Yeah.
Or COVID. COVID was like an exemption.
Yeah.
Some people are allowed to take money out, no penalty.
Oh, I hope they took all the money out.
It's
I know
the
someone who took
government's
money
cookie
out.
jar for you. They allow you to have a tax.
But could you self-custody
cookie
in a
jar, like
401k?
an IRA.
Okay.
Um,
What is the IRA?
It's the same thing. It's like a tax retirement account.
Okay.
Is it self-custody? Does anyone know this? This is news to me. I did not. I saw that they were offering
Because
something.
let's
but I
say
didn't
out
hear it was
loud what
self-custody.
nobody wants
You
to say
can
out
do
loud.
self-custody Bitcoin in your 401k.
So you
With
put
Fidelity.
that, you
with
buy
Fidelity, I don't know.
Bitcoin in
I
a
thought you meant in
self-custody.
general.
I'll tell you the tax strategy, okay? You take the tax rebate all your life on your 401k, you self-custody it in your wallet. Then you go to El Salvador and you spend the Bitcoin and nobody knows about it and you don't pay taxes.
You can. So here's something. We already get
Like
a
guys
tax.
like that?
We already have a tax exemption in the United
You have
States.
to try it first.
Foreign
Legal
currencies get a
I'm
tax
not-
exemption.
I don't have one.
This is legal advice, ladies and gentlemen, and financial advice.
This is financial advice for.
You get in the United States, foreign currencies have an exemption where if you have a capital gain on an expenditure of foreign currency and the gain is less than $200, you don't have to report it or get taxed on it. And Bitcoin's foreign currency now in 3 different
It's
countries.
true. It is.
So
Yes.
that's good. We don't have to. As long as we're not making huge gains on each transaction, we don't have to report it.
Yes, exactly. But that's not related to my point on the 401k though.
Well, you were just saying you can go to El Salvador and spend your money and not report it. You can already do that here.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you
Well,
can.
you could do it here as well.
Huh?
You could do it here. You could do it anywhere in the world.
Yeah. But
My
here
point
it's-
is that you could use your private keys
Mhm.
on your self-custody wallet to just, I can buy your car. Like, let's say you'd have a car. I'm going to send you some Bitcoin from my 401k and buy a car.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell the American government that I just sold a part of my 401k. That's my point.
Right.
And nobody will know.
You should.
Well, they will now because you just said it on Stack on our
You should-
podcast.
But I don't have a 401k and I'm never going to have one. So,
You
And who are you?
hypothetically could do all
Hey.
those things.
I'm no one.
Who is this guy?
I just disappeared. Did
All
you
right,
guys get
well,
my point?
This has been